For us.
For now.
It's unusual.
All right, we are live.
Okay, welcome to the April 13th meeting of the Raleigh County Commission. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We snuck in when we were turned around.
It did.
Huh?
There's a Robin. I don't know if it's the
Is there?
one. Yeah, you don't know yet.
Okay, do we have any public comment?
Good morning, Commissioners. Elizabeth Ford, Human Resources Director. I just wanted to clarify what you would like to do with the agenda on Thursday. We no longer have a scheduling conflict early that day. Right?
Yeah, my appointment's actually at 3 and not 1. I got the days reversed on that.
Sure. So we can, we've already rescheduled a couple of those folks, but Cindy indicated she may have some more things to fill in. So do you want to just leave the reorganization conversation at the end of the meeting? And not move it forward to 10 a.m.?
It's fine.
Yeah, that's okay.
I just
There's other things ahead that we can put in ahead of it, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure and then not
Yeah,
surprise you that way.
if
So,
we can't get anything filled in, then move it up.
yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to commission comments.
Okay, well, Thursday afternoon, had my monthly meeting with the doctor. Not a lot of change, at least at the moment anyway, so hopefully some things will be changing, hopefully down the road here in the near future. I'll see some progress there, but not as of the moment. So also Thursday, I met with Raleigh County Planning Director Amanda Webb, along with Cameron Withon and Anna Krutal from Plus Power. Had a good opening introduction. I do believe this is an item. It's at 9:40 today, so you'll hear a little bit about what we discussed anyway. Certainly interesting concept. I don't know where it fits into the concept overall, but like I said, you'll get to hear about it later, so I won't steal anybody's thunder just yet. Lastly, on Thursday, I was finally able to complete both my state and federal income taxes for the year. Overall, I ended up with a smaller balance than I had the last previous year, so it didn't hurt quite as bad this year. Which is nice for a change, obviously. Friday morning, I met with Harry Watts from MATC over at Flight Crew. Discussed several items pertaining to an upcoming MAT Foundation board meetings I've been invited to, and just several other current events pertaining to Riley County. Certainly appreciated the time and the insight, and I'm sure we're gonna have a couple of future conversations as they present themselves moving down the road. I also came over to the office and did some spring cleaning. Filled up a couple of totes in there, so you might, yeah.
Filling
You
up
might
in there.
want to get somebody to empty those. I went through and did a very thorough overhaul of all my files and everything, and got everything kind of updated and settled into place, and should be good moving forward. Weekend was pretty quiet. I do know about K-State and the Royals won 2 of their 3 in their home series over the weekend, which is good for baseball. And it was nice to get some measurable rain finally. Hopefully that'll bring things back to life a little bit here, and keep the fire danger down. I know there's supposed to be some severe weather chances over the next couple of days, so just be aware of that. And that's about all I've got.
Okay, Commissioner McKinley.
Well, Thursday afternoon, at our meeting, I met with David Adams for a while, had a discussion with him. And then Friday morning, I had meetings with John Ellerman, Jacob Hansen, and Anna Burson, kind of discussing all the situations going on. Friday afternoon was the pre-law board meeting. Most of the items were the usual things covered, but we are going to start the discussion on budget. That's all I've got.
Well, Friday afternoon, I too attended the pre-law board meeting at the RCPD, went over the agenda and various items and concerns for the next meeting on April 20th. Saturday, did some shopping downtown, and then came down here, worked in my office, organizing some items. I still need to fill a few trash cans full of stuff. And there'll be a bunch of, probably 3 reading notebooks for
Yeah.
grabs, so.
Did the
I
same
don't
thing.
use those really anymore. Then I spent some time also going over the agenda for today's meeting, checking some emails. Sunday, basically I went to church, then home to do some household chores. Spent some time with some friends in the afternoon, did some walks with the dog. And then later I went over today's agenda and read through proclamations, which are fairly long. The first one is, and and other items I didn't get to do on Saturday. So, and I did do some more reorganization, more picture. Brought some pictures down Sunday. Haven't hung them up yet. Oh, that's thanks. So anyway, that's all I have.
Brief business.
Mhm.
First item we have, Child Abuse Prevention Month 2026 proclamation.
Okay.
Okay.
Got a speech there.
Yeah, it'll be quite a long speech. Do we have a motion to approve it?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the Child Abuse Prevention Month proclamation.
Second,
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Child Abuse Prevention Month 2026 proclamation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three, please sign.
Got a feedback here.
Yeah, I was noticing
There's
that.
that.
His-
Really-
I hear it echo when I was talking.
Yeah,
Yeah, yours is,
maybe
Maybe
your
push it
your-
back. maybe.
either that or the drink, if the metal you got right next to it, your cup,
Oh, is that?
maybe it's bouncing off that. That's there's
Yeah, that's something, that's something
There's
else.
something in the system.
if you touch it, it's.
Yeah, it's coming out of there, so.
If they have levels cranked up too high, like trying to pick up all the mics, that's everyone.
Yeah, you should know a lot about.
Yeah, as I say, he hasn't feedback over the years from different speakers and different, being places, yeah.
Hmm.
Experienced a lot of things, but
And just last time it said you couldn't hear the
Mhm.
presenter.
It's working the bugs out,
Yeah.
getting it fine tuned.
Yeah, yours is really.
It's like an echo chamber.
I think it's rolling back around to the corner over there.
their mics like up on the ceiling then too, is that
Yeah.
one? Yeah, but that's,
Blue
yeah,
dots are.
yeah. Oh, yeah, okay.
That's for the internet, isn't it? And these are for the.
Correct.
phone?
Correct.
Is that how it works?
Yes,
what for the internet? I'm sorry.
That
The-
one's-
the blue
The
dots.
blue dots.
Yeah, I was told, oh, that, okay, now I see.
The
Yes.
microphone. And these are just for inside in the room.
Almost sounds like there's a speaker someplace too, it's like, reverbing off of some, but I don't,
Yeah,
wouldn't make any sense to have a speaker someplace.
What are these?
I think those are,
Yeah.
All those three,
there's one here, one here. There's a
Yeah.
bunch of them.
bunch of three. You can't say anything.
It's all open. So everybody gonna hear it.
It's too smart, I guess, for its own good, this room.
Next, commission need a motion to approve 2026 Week of the Young Child Riley County proclamation.
I'll move to approve the 2026 Week of the Young Child, Riley County proclamation.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 2026 Week of the Young Child Raleigh County Proclamation. All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
All three, please sign. Yeah, it's very sensitive.
Mhm.
What is a volume control in here? There's a push. What does that mean?
I don't know, I
That's
wouldn't
just-
press it until IT comes in. God knows what'll happen.
Might turn it off.
It might, or it'll.
I'm tempted.
Close up, yeah.
Seems like it's coming from this side of the room, like when Greg and Rich move, like, yeah, I don't hear as much of a
Yeah,
click.
I noticed that as well.
Yeah.
Noticed that as well. Any changes to the minutes, commissioners?
I didn't have anything.
Go ahead and make a motion then to approve the minutes as written from the April 9th meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the April 9th meeting as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Tentative agendas, look, commissioners.
I think I have an 11 o'clock or 11:30 meeting. I'll check my calendar on the 20th, next Monday.
Okay, let us know.
Okay.
Yep. Any items for the press conference, commissioners? Okay, if not, I'll up at 9 o'clock. I did call IT, so they should look at the sound issues.
Oh, yay.
Reverberates a little
Yeah.
much. It's annoying.
Hard on the ears.
That it is.
Nothing happens. I pushed it.
Didn't turn off.
You-
Yeah.
Lisa.
I just wanted to check it out.
Oh. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I guess so. Maybe it's better that we,
You can turn them on and off.
do you have to push it very hard? There you go. Keep them off until you want to speak. You do it that way. Maybe that'll help.
Yeah, it's not 11:30, Rich. Next Monday.
Gotta remember to put it back on once you're ready to talk.
Well, I would think the problem-
Online.
So we really don't need it.
It's such a big crowd this morning.
There's time yet. Yeah.
I think these mics are a lot more sensitive than the other ones. They're being turned in.
Do you all hear any difference when crowds versus when those are on?
I haven't heard that bud in a few minutes now.
Yeah, I think once they're off over there, I don't hear it. I think it was, yeah, this side, just your right and my left instead of the, yeah.
Hello?
I'm getting a lot of feedback. Echo.
You hear the
Somewhere.
echo.
So but if we turn these off, it isn't so bad.
Yeah, even when you scratch your head. It's move around a little bit. It just. On the 16th, so they took people off so we could have the 10 boxes out. Unless you're gonna add back, but we don't want to go.
I think it's about that.
This extension and RCP.
Yeah, those reports usually don't go too long. It's good to have plenty of time.
Like a half hour for RCP, I'm not sure.
That's kind of,
He had something.
what is it, like, did you say like a jail report? Is that what it was?
Showdown. And traffic was absolutely crazy this week. Was it because of the showdown thing?
There was quite a few
Was it?
things kind of going on around town.
Well, that was a tulip festival in
Yeah.
Omega too, which sneaked up on me. I didn't go. Usually go to it. What, the tulips? I go, what?
Enough rain.
So mine got, a lot of them got frozen. And what didn't get frozen, the deer ate. I have 2 more.
Yeah. The tulip festival, I bet it was muddy.
Guess that was good. And I'm real, it's fun to go.
Yeah.
I thought if you, we did photograph pictures.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
There was one lady that was really good.
I went to one, it was like an art fair at Topeka, Washburn, and they had some really cool paintings and everything, but good boy, the prices
Yeah.
are, I'm like, that's a fantastic painting, but that. You're
Not for
gonna get
800
anywhere
bucks.
close for that.
Go to the Plaza Art.
Yeah.
Just to say again.
Go to the Plaza Art Fair. Again.
Oh, Lord, I don't.
But it's amazing stuff. It's really great.
That's why
Just to see, there's a lot of stuff. A lot of people and there's a lot
Yeah.
going on.
Plaza is a cool place. All right, yeah. Plaza's, I guess, in a weird situation. I don't know, I have heard off and on that they're having difficulties, I guess, with tenants. Things like that. Yeah.
Where's that at?
Plaza.
We got a lot of open space.
Yeah.
We're gonna turn some of it into condos or something too,
Built all these giant buildings, but it's still not spot. They built all these giant hotels and office buildings there.
Yeah, kind of.
Changed what they think. But like the Plaza Art.
Thank you. No, appreciate it.
Good, yeah, and so.
So.
Yeah, it wouldn't mind. Yeah, so there's always some cool stuff.
I'll move over here with the group. Yeah, you can tell. Like the cool work. Let's create my name to sit right else.
Good. How are you?
Good. Yeah, it's much better over here. As far as.
I've seen that in Kissimmee.
Yeah, by yourself.
Did you use an iPhone before?
It's hard to see from here.
I have an iPhone. You can
See the numbers.
Corel camera. And I just.
I hate all Apple
Yeah.
products. So I've never.
My wife like.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're.
I just went from an Android to an iPhone about 4 months ago.
Oh.
There's a couple things I like about the iPhone that wasn't on the Android, but it's, I mean, it does what it needs to do.
Like Androids, like the Androids, I've never went to an
I
iPhone. I just got a brand new one,
I'm not happy
Nice.
with it.
Samsung
Yeah,
Galaxy S26.
that's what I just got too.
I'm not happy.
The battery swelled on my other one, so
Oh.
yeah,
Catch on fire.
didn't catch on fire, thankfully.
Apple keeps changing all the stuff. And they don't ask you, they tell you they're gonna change, and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
it's weird.
Well, with Android, do they have, I mean, how does the apps, do they have useful, good apps, or do they seem some different? How do they?
I think they were fine. I don't use a lot of apps. I use, most of the apps I use are either work related or, grocery store type stuff.
Yeah.
I don't use my phone near like what it's capable of. It's just, I'm not capable of it, so.
Would you make it? Knowing now?
But for the most part, there's not many advantages to switching.
And I think
What is your?
what we've noticed in our families is the iPhones, they are definitely listening to you a lot. Because I don't get the stuff that my girls and wife do, and they're talking about something, and all of a sudden it pops up on their phone.
Yeah.
Someone's listening.
Then you get come commercial ads, like buy this and buy that.
And I know Corey's talked about like there's a feature you can turn that off. I haven't found that on Samsung, if that, so, but I haven't looked that hard. What's your wife use?
She has an iPhone, but that thing is ancient, and we're planning on switching, to, I don't know, carrier. We're gonna put ourselves on our own plane. So now it's like, well, do I want to switch? Do I want to switch it up?
The reason I ask is because the major advantages, in my opinion, of having an iPhone is when your family uses it, there's a lot of features that then tie you together. So like you can share your location, you can.
You can't do that on.
So that's what, when my family, you know, 4 of us had it, kind of like Rich's, 4 of us had it and 1 didn't. That was the major advantage of coming over because it really does.
The major advantage of not having it, no one.
Yeah, that makes sense. But that's what you want, yeah. So then to counter argue that, there's Life 360, you can still share your location and all of that, and then, but like when we travel, if we don't have, we can talk to each other through the iMessage instead, you know, you don't have to, if you don't have service, you don't text, if you're overseas, you can still connect, you can still do FaceTime. I mean, I'm not advocating really one for the other. I hated iPhone when I went to it and it was like a lifetime ago, but it just takes over and everything connects.
Jacob, let me give you some advice here. When your family can track you, what happens is when you're in a drive-through and you're just gonna buy yourself a cup of coffee. Entire family. Keep that in mind.
Good.
Oh, yeah, and sometimes.
Already.
He just does it out of, he just knows that his wife wants coffee.
And then even if my wife can track me, I get this call all the time. Hey, Michael, where are you at? I'm like, well, you know, look it up.
Where do you think I am?
Where does this say I'm at?
I think Saturday forenoon came down McCall Road. That 7 Brew had traffic backed up both directions.
We got a police car there Friday, I think it was.
That
Blocked off the turn in, so because you couldn't turn cross traffic because it was so backed up.
Well, actually, they had people from this way were stacked up trying to turn left, and ones going from the other direction were backed up almost to that stoplight.
Thanks, Sam.
Just new.
I think there's.
That 51, they weren't put out in the street, but they had a long line.
Oh, yeah.
It's starting to become dangerous over there is what I'm being told.
Test.
Crazy.
Turned mine off. It helped when we ended. Oh.
I don't know.
Well, before they opened, they did like this promotion of like, we'll offer like 5 free drinks or whatever. So we ordered like 54 for the building. We took and just like had them delivered, and so everybody got coffee, and that was fun.
Yeah, I like flavored coffee. That's like your own coffee, or is that? Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just argue back and forth about iPhone or Android, which one's better. I mean, I think the negative is it takes over. I mean, like you just get more and more like you.
That's why I don't.
Like, you know, you get an iPad, well, then that all connects, right? And then you think, oh, I shouldn't have a laptop, I should have a Mac, because then it all, I mean, it like permeates, so. See?
I have a teenager on. So they look for it, it's like that's attractive.
So I can use OneDrive, of course, when like I log in, but then Google has its own version. Sheets. So I use that, you know. That's what I use with the iPhone too, because you know, their stuff doesn't compatible with what either, so I use this.
Test. The iPhone will remove their home button now.
That's true.
Test.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I think you'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure Butler ever will, but I'm pretty sure you will.
Yeah.
I still miss my BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Really?
The more out there in the razor.
Yes, the flip. Oh, goodness.
I go back to the Nokia days.
You go back to the.
Let's date it. You ever A bad phone?
Need a bag, but
Knew you wouldn't.
Had those in EMF.
Plug into the cigarette lighter that they don't make anymore.
Took the big phone.
Yeah, we had those forever radio.
I believe it.
Yeah, yep, we're pretty reliable. They wouldn't-
All the ladies in our family, all my daughters and wife have iPhones. My son and I do not.
What kind do you have? Phone?
Samsung, Android.
Oh, okay, you like it?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Has
yeah.
anybody got another little Pixel? Anybody got another one?
My son does.
I was gonna say, I think that's a young phone.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I just don't think it has enough.
yeah, I get confused. I'm like, what the heck? How do I operate this thing? And it's the same. I mean, it's still Android, you know, it's still same operating, but
Oh, sorry. You're good, sir. You have to like.
Then we failed to mention what we carried for years was a pager. And I remember.
No stories of times where the message would come across the screen, absolutely.
I carried a pager for 10 years.
And it was limited, you had to limit the message.
When I worked up in the mountains, I had my doing design work. I was going between Alaska and Israel, and I had a pager, and if they needed me from the office, they'd page me, I'd have to find a payphone somewhere. You know, and go get a payphone and
Know
call.
what a payphone is.
I know what it is. And in fact, when I went to London, I went in one of the famous like
Oh, the
red
little
boots. Smelled horrible.
Oh, shit.
It was awful. It's like, okay, I'm in for the picture and get out.
And I wouldn't touch anything in those.
Thought maybe you're gonna say you exited as Superman.
Yeah.
That's what I worked, with a guy in the nineties, and we had the bag phones, but they also started putting phones in cars. A couple of times.
They
And
did.
he said, oh, and he says, in 5 years, every car will come equipped with a phone. Well, then cell phones come out.
Yeah.
Cause those phones were like
Yeah.
that big, and you had to sit
Had a
around.
big thing sitting in your console there. He said, oh, everybody's gonna have one of those, and I said, I won't. Of course, I didn't have a cell phone for a long time. I had a flip phone until they quit making them, and then I had.
They got them again, flip phones.
yeah, no, they fold in half.
It's kind of-
Yeah, they have those and then they have the ones that like open like this.
Yeah, I wonder if that would be helpful to have.
No, it's not for me.
It's like a little iPad. with
Yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're watching a lot of programs or something off of it. you know,
Yeah, I mean, the
people
thing
watch
I'm thinking about
it.
is like, okay, I'm in court and I need to look up like some stuff. Is it better to have that or is it just?
Even this 26 is actually smaller than 25.
I use my iPad for it. I do like my iPad and my iPhone.
And that's what I judged mine on. I held mine up. That's about the same size as my phone. That's what I want.
Thing, and then I went back to my
I do not like a little bit of phone to carry around.
things like that, and then the accessing the same documents.
I don't even like carrying around the phone.
I mean, I feel like I still use using the iPad.
What, you don't like my
Yeah.
6 text?
And I think I'm gonna get up there.
I want to watch the dog people say,
I'm gonna
go
go.
take the phone.
You send me evaluations.
Oh, really?
By hand.
Yeah.
Then you have to go back.
I found a little.
Yeah, you got.
light
Yeah, do that.
thing
It's,
to
you just use the
put
window,
in.
have one
You
here.
pull the thing out of it.
Fantastic.
No, and then-
Oh, this might help.
And I got in, I got the pencil and everything, and it just wasn't. Like, it was okay, but not that good. So I did research between the iPad and the bank.
Yes. One of my favorite things on the window is that I take like.
They talked about
Because it
that.
was too flat and I can insert the document itself.
That's
in
what
the
they
note,
talked about.
and then I can
Counting
assign it.
signs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I do that on my Google Doc. So if I go and I have my computer, I do a Google Doc and get the agenda there, and then I do this. But it's not as convenient.
Basically, man.
Yeah.
I'm not, like on the iPad, I think that's.
And then I would last too.
I got a cell phone in those things from the.
My buddies up in.
A landline was so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about how it's taken maybe 10 years to get your evaluations test because I didn't have any time.
Oh, wow.
Janet.
We still have a landline.
No.
We get full reception out there.
Is up there or something.
Like I say, I haven't had a landline.
I'm about ready to get it.
Like my grandparents.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know where to watch the screen or
Oh, there's one right behind you there.
Well, there's there, and it's right here.
One
That's
there.
nice.
Terribly.
Ready, commissioners?
Yes.
Morning, Commissioner Rich Barbarelli, County Clerk. First report's 2026 year-to-date wages and overtime compared to budget report. We see an upper right-hand corner, we're at 25%, point in time of the year.
Boy, how do we get there?
Time flies. So that's what we use as the indicator to see comparatively where budgets are. You can see the far right-hand column, the percentage, respectively for each department. Take a look through there. A lot of times, commissioners like to look at overtime as well, and there's no big red flags with overtime. Of course, when it catches everyone's attention, it's EMS ambulance, but that's budgeted just due to their nature of their business over time. Any questions on that first page, commissioners? Next report. Just a little bit more detailed breakdown of that, regular salaries, seasonal and overtime per each department. Get a little bigger, easier to see. A little bit more detailed of that previous page. Any questions on any of those? Okay, if not. Come on.
We'll see.
Oh, I didn't. It's when you push it too hard when you're rolling it, so you do. That's what happens on it. I noticed I did that earlier too. Get this where it's a little easier to see. Next report's 2026 year-to-date budget activity report. Same 25% we're comparing to in the far right-hand corner. You can faintly see the blue on there. It shows up better there than it does on the screen in front of me. Those that are in the blue, commissioners, are those that are in excess of that 25%. Huge concerns at this point in time of the year. Budget appropriations, insurance, and general fund transfer. Those are all cyclical in nature, just like the juvenile detention. They'll should all balance out by the end of the year. I always like to point out the county general. There it's 2 lines down from the widest section of blue there, below budget appropriations insurance. It's always atypically low, at least should be at the 4.42%, because that is where the budget stabilization funds are, the 4,250,000. And none of that, of course, has been spent. Any questions on that first page, commissioners? Next page, same thing. Those highlighted in the blue are over that at this point in time. Early enough in the year, it's just something that we keep an eye on. And of course, if towards the end of the year, it looks like there's any potential budget shortfalls there, we'll do budget amendments on those. Any questions on that second page? Next page, these are all enterprise funds. There are no ad valorem tax dollars using these funds. This is all either individuals that own or own property or live in property in those benefit districts that pay those funds. All of those, of course, are doing real well right now. Any questions on those? Next is 2025 to 26 comparison, March to March, and then also year to date. Just a snapshot comparison, commissioners. Of course, as you know, every year is not always an apples to apples comparison, but gives you kind of a little barometer on where spending is compared to the previous year within the respective departments. Any questions on those? Next page, just a little bit more detailed breakdown of that general I spoke about earlier that has the budget stabilization in there, the 4,250,000. Of course, no personnel get paid regularly out of there. That's just for separation of service. Any questions on that, commissioners? Next, 2026 year-to-date budget activity. It's shows you the breakout on physician, laboratory, etc. of RCPD expenditures. I like this next page a little bit better. It gives you a good snapshot comparatively 22 to current year. Unfortunately, we seem to be about on pace on physician at around the $400,000 for the total year. We'll see that
On inmate housing, it's 0. We haven't gotten 'Cause I know they've had people outside.
We haven't, it's quarterly.
Oh, it's just, oh,
So we get that one quarterly, so we'll probably get it.
So it'll be next
sometime this
report,
fall. Mhm.
next report. Yep. So, nothing in this business is cheap. Building maintenance doesn't look too bad right now. Sometimes it can get high. Last year was a little bit higher, but it's a good sized facility. And we've been many years done very well on, building maintenance in that facility. Any questions on that, commissioners? Of course, the highest costs are anything related to inmate medical, which, this next page is with advanced correctional. You can see how much of the 31,000 pool balance has already been spent. It's just due to the number of inmates that we have, and then also that clientele.
And the March was blank because they've been behind on their billing. And so, yeah, for the past few months, and so we're getting it late. So that is why you don't see that or the savings from the Medicaid rate. So if you ever have questions about that, we get them, we try to add it in when we get the invoice.
We used to get them regularly on time and don't pay.
Does that come from the RCPD?
No, ma'am, it comes from ACH, the Advanced Correctional Healthcare that we partner with.
Oh, okay.
And I think a lot of it has to do with billing, of course, and stuff like that, but they've had turnover in their departments as well, and so it's taking longer for invoices to get to us.
Hmm.
Any questions on that, commissioners? Okay, you look through those reports in any more detail, have any questions, let us know. We'll be glad to get you the answer. Next, commissioners, you have David Adams at 9:15.
Are you together? It would fail at that. Yes. Have to take testing and see if it really does see this. Yes, yours doesn't. His would not see it, so. I was just saying that too, though. So.
This is
His will not see it. Maybe some Vaseline.
Is back there?
No, don't do that.
Well, this is different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. Really takes some getting used to. Be able to just scroll on down and then you gotta click each one. Different.
Well, and it's not,
Yeah,
it's almost not quite flat, but
uh-huh. Yeah, it is different, for sure.
thank you.
Oh, yeah.
Good weekend.
Yes, very good.
Have trouble?
There's like you said, no arms and some arms. I think
You gotta,
too short.
you gotta get the point, you can't.
Still the points.
You know, you gotta build on that equity.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you will eventually will,
Need to draw on it.
yeah, I'm gonna do it wrong there at some point.
Our real fiction.
No, no, with the rain and everything. I need to get out, maybe in a couple weeks, maybe this weekend. Just do a little fish. I can't believe people are catching crappie with being as cold as it is. The water temperature being.
Deep.
Just,
Gotta
yeah,
fish deep.
yeah,
Yeah, fish deep.
Yep, so, but
Gotta find them, they're pooled up.
they're, yeah, and it seems like they're full, but I saw, some people catch them, 4 feet away, 3 feet from the bank. And,
That's odd.
that, I thought so, cause the water temperature's too cold.
So they'll be shut down now. That makes about, I don't know how high it is, but it is high
Yep, so,
and
yeah,
muddy.
you might as well just wait it out, cause it's gonna be, when it calms down and warms up, there's not gonna be a lot. Quite the crew here, I don't know about that.
They're all here to support you, guys.
Something like that. You really think I believe that, right?
And then I mean, structure. Over.
Yeah.
3-foot high beams.
It's over.
Right.
Should be good.
And our chair about the.
One right over there for a tornado.
Yeah.
So there's.
Mm.
That one.
Hope that these guys. Let's see that. It's going where. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the length of my necklace, that's it.
That's like that's it.
Basically, for David, it's right now, and then.
Yeah, maybe a little bit.
In the back, right?
Yeah, it's not the, well, yeah, maybe it's where Corey was sitting right now, but.
Yep.
Why don't you come?
I was. I just noticed earlier, when you sit there, you're facing the computer. You have to kind of, yeah, have to angle that way to see everybody else.
It's like a school.
Actually, can I just say, can you move your stuff, can you sit right here? Maybe I'll sit behind you, so you better eye.
It's my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, yard sale, right.
She needs one of those pointers.
Yeah.
With just
One of those pointers.
And if you, if you go.
But from you?
That are here.
Yeah,
Like that.
yeah, it's like it's ankle,
You know, see, I don't think she won't send my emails to spam because they make her nervous.
No, he's going.
Oh, he is. Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah. This way and this way. This is too close. No, it's definitely too close for anybody to fit through that's got any issues.
I don't understand what I want.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's a good way to stay in. That's, I mean, we all kept tripping. That sounds like a safety issue. So all of a sudden, this takes a, I mean, almost,
Or we'd like to have this.
I mean, I feel like if you're gonna.
Angle a little up a little more.
That's too far for you to be able to see.
Well, I don't know whether to look here or there or here or there, or you have three options here.
You should be used to it from your conference room.
Yeah.
It's just not down here.
Well, this one's pretty big over here.
It is. And, you know, Corey's here, so you gotta find fault with something.
Oh, yeah.
Ready, commissioners?
Yeah, are you ready?
All right. Good morning, Commissioners. David Adams, EMS Ambulance Director and oncoming Emergency Services Director here with just an update on the transition and kind of where we're going. I think Commissioner McKinley had asked about it, you know, a week or so ago, and so here we are. So as a reminder, on December 4th, you approved the consolidation of County Fire District Number 1, Emergency Management, 911 Administration, and EMS to a single Emergency Services Department. And that's what we're working on. That's what we're here to talk about. So timeline established was for the reassignment of personnel on August 1st, with the resolution to be presented for adoption in June of this year. So down here is just some bullet points of kind of what's going on. Both Russell and I have started transitioning our day-to-day operations to our division chief and deputy chiefs. So that's what's going on. Most of mine have been transitioned over to Josh and Alex. So they're doing most all of what I did day to day. So, and it's going well. I still review everything and such, but they've got the hang of some of the things that I used to do constantly. I believe Russell's the same with Doug and Jake. So they're getting where they need to be. Russell and I meet, and he shared with me a lot of different operational administrative tasks and procedures and walked me through those. He's been very helpful with that to make sure that I understand what needs to occur and how they occur. I've completed 11 emergency management classes. I have 2 remaining. One is here in a couple of weeks, and then the last one isn't until next year. So the reason why I did the emergency management before I did the fire was because emergency management, it's when they're offered. So, and they stack upon each other. So had that opportunity at the beginning of the year to take this class, and you have to take the next one that allows you to take the next one. So that's why I did that way. So I could get those completed and then be able to just turn my attention to the fire, because I couldn't do EMS, emergency management classes, and fire all at the same time. I just didn't have the time or the bandwidth, quite frankly. So, but so I'm almost done with those. I have joined RCFD number 1. I've participated in multiple trainings and meetings as we could. They have a North County meeting this Thursday. It was canceled from last Thursday. I won't be able to attend it because I'm on PTO on Friday and I'm going to be out of town. So, but been trying to attend those as best I can. I did hose testing with the chiefs and various other county fire guys this last couple weeks ago. Did 2 days of that. I learned a tremendous amount. It was very helpful for me, and some of those things I just have to get in and do them. So, but we're moving through there. I've met with Lori Harrison and Robert Cox from EM, and Robert is doing some pretty big updates on the ESF's emergency support functions, and I've tried to sit on those when I can, and just kind of sit back and listen and ask a few questions here or there, but they've done very well with that as well. So, and then we're working on 27 budgets with Brittany, and so that is also going well. EM, there's a few little nuances, but really the biggest nuances are with county fire. It's just a different entity and a different animal. So I've been looking at budgets. We've talked about them and such. So we'll get where we need to be. So, and then as far as the next thing to talk about is the job descriptions that we have in front of you for your reference. Or do you have any questions about any of that? Okay. So the first thing in front of you is the Emergency Services Director job description, and I'll remind you that you approved that back in December, I believe it was. But we just put it out here just to remind you, just in case you'd forgotten. But that is in here. But then the others that we're here to ask for your approval is the administrative assistant 2. The biggest thing that changed was who they report to, because right now she reports to, I believe it's Doug, and she'll report to the emergency services director. To Jake, I'm sorry, but she'll report to the emergency services director. We met with her briefly on Friday, showed it to her, and really there's not a lot of change into it other than we're adding some of the EMS components where it's, the three Cs, the credit card. So she'll do that for EMS. We're a little different and because we have, you know, credit cards in the ambulances for fuel and food and things like that, but really not a lot has changed. We've just included some of those nuances. And I assured Mackenzie, you know, we'll walk her through it. You know, we'll slowly integrate her into how we do things and such. You know, but and then we'll add to it a little bit at a time as we go. We're not just going to dump everything on her, obviously, just right off the bat. Do you have any questions about her position description? Okay. The next two are the division chief and deputy chief of the fire department job descriptions. The biggest change is we talk about the division chief, which will be Doug, is the he will be the designated county fire chief. So he will have some responsibilities to do that he currently does not have. So he's been working with Russell and learning about those. But they're just like with EMS, and when we have the EMS division and deputy chiefs here, we'll talk about that as the EMS director, just like the fire chief, they have certain reports that they have to do, certain things that they have to turn into the state or to the different entities that they report to. So I think Doug is got a pretty good handle on that already, and he still has time to learn and to ask questions and such. So, but really that's the biggest change, I believe, on there. So okay, any questions on that? Okay, and then the same with Jake and the deputy chief of fire. Just made some minor adjustments to it. And really the thing that you'll notice is when you get into their essential and secondary functions, there's a lot of cross collaboration. It'll be the same at EMS where, you know, like on this one, serves as primary code enforcement officer for the district. You'll see on the deputy chief or the division chief that they assist with that. So it's not just one person just does this, but they assist with each other and cross train and cross function, which allows us to have more flexibility. And they're able to pick up and help each other out throughout different courses of things, whether it's budgets, whether it's, like I said, code enforcement, you know, their fire response. We're really excited about. They do it now. They absolutely do it now. Now it's in writing. So, and it's going to be the same as I said with EMS with Josh and Alex. So one will have a primary responsibility, but the other one will help manage that. So that way, if somebody's gone, you don't have to wait till they get back. Somebody else understands what they do. They're a part of that, and they can help kind of fill in those gaps. So same at EMS, we do it now, and it works really well. I will point out with both of these commissioners, one of the things we did when we looked at licensors and certifications for the fire chiefs, you know, we worked with Russell, and then we reached out to Eric Peck, who is the fire advisory board chair, and showed it to him and got his input. He asked us to share it with Brian McNulty from the fire advisory board. We did, got his input. They had questions, we answered them. So this is what this is based off of, is not only what the recommendation of Russell and the fire chief, but also recommendations or questions from the fire advisory board, and then from outside entities. So you know, it's updated a little bit. I think it's very applicable. The chiefs understand it. They signed off on it. They absolutely were part of building this. So this wasn't just built by myself and Russell or myself and Elizabeth. This was input from everybody. So, so we're excited about it. You'll see in here, firefighter 1, fire officer 1, NIMS 300 or equivalent, investigation certification, and things like that. But they all depend on program availability. So, you know, they want to become, I believe it's it may be in the fire investigator, but there isn't a program out there right now. It's on pause. So that's why we don't put on there that's got to be within a certain time frame, because it's just not realistic if the classes aren't available.
So we're excited about it. It gives them some structure, but it also gives us some flexibility as we work through things. So
David, will you please explain the org chart? I think they need to understand that it's flat, that they're all reporting up, that the point of what we're trying to achieve there is different than a lot of the industry standards.
absolutely. So when you think of an org chart, you think of hierarchical, right? You have a director, assistant director, and then people underneath. What we've done with both of these divisions with their input is we have the director, then you have the division of EMS. So you have the division chief, who will be the EMS director that, because the state says we have to have a director, and we have to have an assistant director, but those two are equal on the org chart. The same with the fire department. We have the division chief and the deputy chief. So they both report up. They cross-discuss between the deputy chief and the division chief, but they also report up. So, and I really wanted to do that because if we do it in the older way, where Josh would report to me, then Alex would report to Josh, then that limited my ability to have those conversations with Alex. And the same with Doug and Jake. If Jake reported to Doug, then theoretically in the historical way of doing hierarchy, then I would go to Doug to have him talk to Jake or to get information from Jake. And it just slows everything down. So by doing it this way, it allows for flexibility amongst themselves. And it allows for flexibility with me being able to have those conversations with my chiefs. So we're excited about it. We already do it now. We're just, again, changing that job description and changing that org chart to kind of match how we do business. So we're excited about it. We think it's going to work well. And then there is some traditional hierarchy below them, especially from EMS. The captains will report up to Josh and Alex, and then on down the road. So on down the way. So, but it's a little bit new way of doing it. We are now, that's how I operate as a leader. It allows for information to flow better, and it allows for decisions to be made quicker. So, and everybody knows kind of what's going on. One person's gone, somebody else can step in. So was that what you're looking for?
Guys,
Yes.
I think so. I think it represents what you guys are trying to get to.
Yep. So any questions about those position descriptions? If not, then I ask for a motion to approve the position descriptions for the division chief of fire, the deputy chief of county fire, and administrative assistant number 2.
Do we need to do this separately?
I think so.
Yes, sir.
Unless there's some that you don't want to approve or
No.
modify or.
Okay. Go ahead and make a motion to approve the position descriptions as presented for emergency services.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded to approve the position descriptions as presented for emergency services. All in favor? Aye.
Thank you, commissioners, and we'll be back in front of you hopefully in the next month or so with the EMS position descriptions as well. Okay, thank you.
Yes, I need to go to the podium.
It's at 9:30.
Do I need to go to the podium for that, figure it out from there? Better go figure it out. I may need some.
Got an ordered copy for you.
Oh, that's good.
She came in and I go, happy Friday, and I'm like, I'm staring at you, it's like a Friday. It's Monday.
We already have.
Yeah. So this whole prohibition.
Listening to the beat, see how it's speaking up.
I'm fighting dizziness, vertigo. Yeah.
Any news in the Jag world?
Nope.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, but that's.
Anything about those days?
Just trying not to. Like, yeah,
Where'd you guys?
it's not. Yeah. It's like a struggle.
We don't have a first round poll. You don't. Because we traded it last year for Travis.
Ready, Catherine?
Yeah, I was just.
We get the back end of round 2.
You be fixed.
Jan?
Yeah, thanks. You said you.
Okay, this is gonna take some time to read all this. Okay, you want to read this? This is. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay. Okay. Young child, okay. Okay. Whereas the early years of a child's life are full of wonder, discovery, and big steps in learning and growing. Whereas this week is a time to celebrate the amazing early childhood educators who guide young learners, and families who support their children every day, and the caring community members who help create safe, nurturing spaces for kids to thrive. Whereas, when we invest in quality early childhood education and care, we give every child, no matter their background, a strong start and a brighter future. Now, therefore, we, the Riley County Board of Commissioners, proudly proclaim the week of April 11th through the 17th, 2026, as the week of the young child in Riley County, Kansas. And we encourage all residents to take part in supporting our youngest community members. Together, we can build strong foundations for our children, our families, and the future we all share. In witness whereof, we hereunto set our hands and cause the seal of the county of Riley to be affixed this 15th or 14th, is this 13th day of April, 2026. Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to say?
I do want to thank the commissioners for the support that you've given us over the years for this program. It's very much appreciated. And it's very appreciated by the members of your community. Thank you.
Now, this is a long one.
I didn't shorten it for you.
Oh, you did? That's good. Okay. This is the Child Abuse Prevention Month 2026 proclamation. Whereas prevention is possible, with strong policies and investments, families and children can thrive, fostering prevention, stability, and long-term well-being. And whereas supporting families early reduces the need for a crisis response. It improves lifelong outcomes, strengthens communities, and saves public dollars and costly downstream interventions across multiple systems. Whereas every family and child is filled with tremendous promise, and we all have a collective responsibility to prevent adverse child experiences, foster the potential of every child, and promote positive childhood experiences. And whereas positive childhood experiences, such as loving caregivers and safe, stable, and nurturing relationships, play a vital role in helping children thrive by mitigating trauma and the negative impact of adverse childhood experiences. And whereas families who receive the support they need before a crisis occurs are better equipped to provide safe, healthy, and nurturing environments, leading to children who are safer, healthier, and more hopeful about their futures. And whereas childhood trauma, including abuse and neglect, can have a long-term psychological, emotional, and physical effects throughout an individual's lifetime and impact future generations. And whereas primary prevention of child abuse and neglect can reduce the lifetime economic burden associated with child maltreatment. And whereas strengthening families through access to concrete economical social and community-based supports, reduces the likelihood of abuse and neglect, and ensures children have a foundation for lifelong well-being. We're almost. And whereas we acknowledge that we must work together as a community to increase awareness about what families need before they are in crisis and contribute to promoting the social and emotional well-being of children and families in a safe, stable, and nurturing environment. And whereas investments in prevention initiatives such as home visiting programs, family strengthening policies, economic support, and community-based child abuse prevention efforts reduce the likelihood of abuse and neglect and ensure children have the foundation for a lifelong well-being. And whereas we can prevent child abuse and neglect before it happens. Therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Riley County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim April 2026 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Riley County. Witness whereof we have hereunto set our hands and caused the seal of Riley County, Kansas to be affixed this 9th day of April 2026. That's actually the 13th.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. You
Can we
have
get
a
a picture?
picture?
I don't know who's available to take one.
What to do?
We got a phone?
Yeah,
Okay, I'll do it.
I mean, I can take it, I can ask anything on my camera.
Where will we do it? Over here?
Yeah.
Who do you know?
Yeah. Just make sure we send it to.
By the flag or up there, or-
It doesn't matter. Where do you think it looks better? Where you guys can take your pictures at?
I
think it might, yeah.
Probably gonna do that chair out of the way on this.
Trying to remember the last time I said the word else. Or how many times.
She said it.
Yeah, how many times I've heard them.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's all right.
This isn't a trend.
Yeah, yes. Probably also keep one with each, the Raising Riley.
Thought they got out of it. Thought you got out of it.
Sorry. Diane.
Yeah, I know. Oh. Yes, exactly.
There's Amanda. How's Amanda?
Good, how are you?
Good.
2 minutes. That was a long one.
Mhm.
Like I remember doing one.
That policy, what, 6 whereas.
6 and 7. That's what happened to the words.
I think we could do that. It's just gonna have a lot more text within the where.
Yeah.
Whereas, it's a, but what I'm reading, that's what it was.
Whereas.
It's to give all the context.
Yeah.
Or legal.
Well, the legal people like to write those things.
It is true.
Mhm.
It's important, guys. It's a little old school, but
Some old school stuff.
Yeah.
where we here unto affix our
Yeah,
seal.
that's the one.
Right.
I was left out for long.
I read a lot of old history stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of that.
Tell you, try reading some deeds that are from like 1900. Oh, man. Yeah, you'll see some interesting stuff in there.
Weird.
Is it first one? Yeah.
I know, it is different. Isn't it? Can't close your jaw.
It does. So I apologize in advance. Okay. All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Amanda Webb, Planning Director, here to talk about data centers and battery energy storage systems, not to necessarily get into the nitty-gritty of what they are, but to talk about that we don't have any code for them. That's not unexpected. It's a somewhat newer topic. I mean, it's been around nationwide for a while. It's getting a little bit more traction here in Kansas over the last couple of years. A lot of counties and jurisdictions around the state are kind of working on their code, updating their code now to include these items. So basically, I wanted to talk today about how you want to approach them. If you want to outright prohibit them, obviously we can do that, and then we don't have to go any further. But if you, excuse me, if you don't, there are certain ways we can handle them now because they're technically not prohibited. Our code doesn't really specify, of course, it's completely silent on these uses, but our code doesn't just outright prohibit things that aren't listed in our use table. I included in your staff report, there is a procedure for allowing myself to review a certain proposal and see if it can fit somewhere, which we have. But again, this is a little different. This data centers and the battery energy storage are a little bit different than the different uses that we already have listed in our allowable use table. As I mentioned in my report, a lot of times because they are of sorts energy systems or data systems of sorts, they get kind of lumped together with wind energy and solar energy, at least when we have presentations again in the planning world and discussions. But they're completely different from that. And we do have wind energy and solar energy already in our code. We already have regulations for that. We don't for these uses. And again, they're different enough that I wouldn't want to take a proposal in and try to apply wind energy or solar energy because it's just not going to be close enough. There are certain things with these uses, energy use, of course, you know, with data centers, energy use, water use, and there's fire risks. There's a variety of different things that can be impactful on the land and on, you know, neighboring uses. So just again, wanted to kind of get initial talks with you folks to see how you want to handle them. If you do want to permit them in some manner, I would highly recommend we come up with some code criteria. So when we get a proposal, we know how to properly evaluate it. Now, of course, that'll be a whole thing. That'll be criteria, what the application, what that will need to do, the criteria folks will need to follow, and then we'll have to come up with the process for evaluating that. It would probably fall under conditional use, special use, that sort of thing, which we do have. And of course, there's a whole review process for that of who that goes to. But really, we just need to come up with, again, unless you want to outright prohibit them, we really should come up with some code criteria to include in our code. If you want to do that, the other thing I want to talk about is if you want to put a moratorium in place on these uses while we come up with code. It's not likely going to be a quick process because again, there's not a whole lot else in the state right now to look to. I can look at other states, and of course I will, to see what they're doing and what they've been doing, just to inform us. And you know, as we review, we don't have to do exactly what somebody else is doing, but just to give us a starting point. I did reach out to my colleague at Labette County because they're the ones that we talked to last week. I haven't heard back from him. I was curious if they have code and what their permit process would be for the Power Plus folks. Haven't heard back from him yet. As soon as I have that info. So a couple things I wanted to get direction on today. Both if you would like to allow in some manner, it doesn't have to be outright allowed, allow in some manner data centers and battery energy storage systems. If you do, I recommend and would like to get direction from you folks if we should get some code in place. And if you do want to do that, you want a moratorium in the meantime.
My thoughts are, I think moratorium until we learn more about it. And really have you look into it more to learn more about what it would involve. I don't want to just say moratorium and then you bring us a whole new regulation allowing it. Just to have a chance to investigate it more, what is involved and whether. Because I'm not saying we will allow or not allow, but just a moratorium until they're studied more is my thoughts.
These are the data centers that I've heard about the consumers get their bills go way up because of them, and there are a lot of negative
I
stuff.
don't know a ton about them either.
There's different types of them. There's larger ones, there's smaller ones. Across the entire spectrum. I think the important thing to realize here is while we can probably handle most of the water, particularly in the particular locations, I think the energy part of it's going to be very, very difficult. And I think that's the thing that we'll have to put some time and energy into to investigate, because if it doesn't work from an energy perspective and they can't work with Evergy to make a subsystem work, or even if you use a secondary energy system, then that facility just isn't going to work, and there's nothing we can do about that. So I think as we develop some kind of code or some kind of structure, we need to really know from an energy perspective what a potential project would do or not do.
And I think it would take citizen input, quite a bit of that to figure that out too, because that's who it's going to affect, and where does it go, and who gets what, and, but moratorium is probably good.
Moratorium, generally like these will have a definite period. For instance, we had attached one from Sedgwick County that was a 120-day moratorium. It can be extended from there. And in fact, there's at least one Kansas Supreme Court case I found where a moratorium was extended 7 times. So probably a good idea right now to define kind of what time period you're looking at on the front end. And again, it can be extended if we need to.
Well, what are you looking at in a time frame, Amanda? I know you don't have a ton of bandwidth, so I mean, yeah.
Just a process that sounds so the code adoption process, even if we already kind of knew what we wanted to do with it, can take a couple of months. We have public hearings, we have to do with both, and we have work sessions and public hearings, we have to do with both. And that's, again, I'm assuming we're all right now on the same page of bringing the code, and that's at least a couple of months. As you all know, and as we've kind of talked about, this is going to take some research. This is going to take some figuring out. So I think maybe at least to start at 6 months.
Yeah, 6 months to
6 months, just to give you. To find out, we need to find out more about it before we make a decision one way or another.
I don't know if the board has had a chance to review the resolution passed by the Sedgwick County Board. That's functionally what I think we would be looking at doing, just making it a 6-month period rather than a 120-day period. Does that sound good to the board?
It may take longer, depending on
180 days, I think. Because you got 16 other things going on at once.
Okay, so we proceed with that, and then we'll just start collecting information to have those initial conversations with you folks early within that time frame, of course. So we kind of all start learning about what they are, what what impacts are, and then decide how.
You hear a lot about it, but it's all just the people hollering, what's really behind it.
Yeah, is the state doing anything on these, or is it doing any kind of investigation or anything?
It's not part of any one of their economic development plans, I know for sure, but outside of that, I think they've kind of stuck an arm out on that one. Yeah.
Probably the fire hazard is pretty high too.
Right.
This is the battery storage. I never thought about it.
Yeah, there's.
No, it's good to wait. It's good to get ahead of it and say, oh, let's, rather than having somebody drop in and say, here's the proposal, and we got to start from scratch.
Yeah, and we have
questions. I know we talked to some folks last week and had other questions in our department as well. So we can also have this discussion with you folks to see. Because yeah, it could be now and then.
And I've heard some rumors,
Yeah.
so I don't know how much to put into that other than assumption at this point in time, but I think they kind of look at this area just from a technological standpoint as being sustainable, but I think there's some components there that we have to really, really look at in the process.
Well, and how it's gonna affect all of our major, like NBAF, and some of those agencies, how could that affect them? Energy consumption wise and all of those.
And the where to go with one.
And that's
Where?
That's, yeah.
And that it doesn't hurt cattle or farm. Yeah, I mean, all those things are.
Yeah, because we could also, again, if you want to go forward with allowing them in some manner, we can find where
And
those will.
I think you're gonna have a very small window where those can possibly go.
Okay, so we will proceed with a 180-day moratorium and we'll have to do paperwork to do that, have to first course. And then we'll just start researching and that's gonna be our topic.
Yeah.
No more short term.
You just got done with the comprehensive plan and now we're on to this.
Well, Keith, you got some Keith. More well.
Okay,
We've
thank
got
you,
time.
commissioners.
Next commissioner, you have John Element at 7:05.
John, the clock got put in the wrong spot. It's supposed to go over there.
Yeah. Most these days.
Where the old one went.
Yeah, it is where the old one was. The camera was
Was
underneath it, I think.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Was it a, yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I complained to John about everything. Sorry.
Or not.
Yeah, okay.
I like it there.
Party.
You got.
Yes. I keep looking up there to look at the clock.
I explained where I wanted to and asked him to call me if he had problems with it, and I guess he didn't have a problem. But it wasn't where I explained.
It won't talk about zoning.
Sure.
I would be. If there
Where'd everybody go?
You left you alone?
the more federal. Than state. That's.
Yeah. Like what comes in?
All right, so at least we have something.
So. That's true.
It's like if
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
be.
be.
It's gonna pull power good.
Let it be.
Put it on the side of it. I mean, do not.
That's a fair.
From the economic.
It's a fair, it's a fair point.
It won't be tax exempt.
Guess I'll go in my office.
So restricted. Oh, it's for really.
I kind of like the way this is standard.
Yeah, a nice little path.
There's a make sure it's slow everybody now. Right now.
Now, did you ever figure out how to do?
No, not yet. Come back and shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Less chances for. And then you know. Right.
These haven't done now.
Yes, I'm gonna
Show something.
Yeah. Probably only need like 30 minutes.
Resolution. 1 and 3.
I have a. I have a meeting at 2.
Yeah.
1 o'clock. want me to put it on your calendar?
So he was.
That yeah.
Yeah. I still do
Not
that.
very helpful.
Budget. Schedule. It got moved, but. When was?
I don't have to crank my map, but you're looking at this.
We're doing it right now.
Yeah. So that, it was his. Five.
I can tell you, so I already have everybody,
Schedule.
yes, everybody except all the appropriation. I mean. That is purple. That's probably.
I'm developing a message. That is.
If there's an ink language absent.
I don't think.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. Tired of Gary?
May 4th, we don't make it. 11 o'clock right now. So, yeah.
Fine, there. Looks like
I don't disagree.
you got Russell.
Yeah, you have fair.
I don't disagree.
So Daniel will present, I don't know if he'll have extension at that same time, because we have that time frame, but. So, yeah, he's the last one to move, so you'll.
Absolutely, we're looking at some today. Yeah. The calendar's one. They start on Thursday.
Yes, that, all of those days, we don't have anything in the afternoon, except of course, May 11th, because that's the county officials luncheon.
We gotta.
I like it better that way. I get it better.
Yeah. And I did, Cindy asked me to go ahead and prepare the 2020 budget calendar, so I have those dates kind of laid out too, so if we were to do that same thing, she can already go. Yeah. So, mhm.
I mean. It's funny, it's still. County manager would actually be the. County managers. You know, so the difference very in the store. Solar farm and what ended up. Carbon resolution, basically changing the traction.
You're like, never mind. I didn't ask you.
Work together, feed each other. Some of those, yeah, some of those are in that. Solar panels that hold all the hydrogen. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, like, what are you asking?
It's off the middle of the standards. There's no amount of delegate. Water aquifer this. Slowly, quickly going. Yeah, it's more like the sea, but you can still say boat. Just drawing off the aquifer, cool. They're gonna. Flow systems very quickly. That one has.
What's my?
Flow systems.
Good, how's Brittany? Circulate. Or the budget stuff.
Go.
Doesn't run on a good one around here.
But it's, that's fine.
Stuff.
All in the elevation. The first one I saw, everybody thought the data center. Where's it gonna get the water? It's only here out in the water.
NATO person yet?
There's no fire.
I don't think so. I haven't him.
We got a police.
That's
That's sooner, right? It's too bad. Very care what he does and how he does. it.
Jump in the situation and like leadership.
By another clock. And put it in the water. Yeah. Maybe I'll tell her by 2 now. Very good. I'll just say, and Brittany's got some guidance. Yeah. I come over here there.
Yeah, I think it's perfect.
Oh.
I'll leave it on top.
Oh, wait. Call.
Yeah.
Michael?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, if you could, let me know, yes.
Okay.
No. But I have other people's. Right.
Tap it on the next one.
Yeah, it's totally different. You gotta tap on the next one over on the.
Get out of
Sure
that was.
I don't wanna.
Project update?
No, position description or job.
Is different.
Just she is not joking back off.
Fixed it.
I was afraid to pull it out.
Thanks for the bring.
Okay.
Maybe back.
Before that's your project update.
That one, you want that first?
I don't care. You wanna do,
Okay.
have it here first.
Let me find myself again.
It's up on 10.
There you go.
There it is.
Okay, we ready for me now? Then I'm finally ready. Okay. Well, good morning, Commission. John Ellerman, Public Works. This morning I have a few items on the agenda. We'll start with the project update. Not much on Winkler Mills. We're waiting for maybe the right time to put it out to bid. I think we're ready for bid. We applied for a cost share with KDOT, and that usually don't come out till June, July. Half tempted to go ahead and start the bidding process, but if we can get some of that, that just extends that sales tax money a little bit more. So, and then our inspectors are on at the transfer station with the floor and getting ready to start University Park. We'll have asphalt overlay in May. I think the chip seal is a little June, so they're starting to pick up their work level too. So it might be a good idea to kind of wait, but what the hope was that we'll start to build before the end of the year, probably closer to winter time. Marlat Road, update the other day was we should be getting a field check plans here soon, next month. That'll tell us where we want to be and give them some direction on where to go from there. Judicial Services Center, we got a draft copy of the space needs. So the staff and I are reviewing those needs, and we'll have a meeting. Can't remember, in a couple of weeks here to discuss those needs with our group, the Barry and the judge and Megan. We got contract signed, CPA signed with the health department study. We'll meet with him next week, next Tuesday morning to get kicked off. And then they'll be out in the first 2 weeks of May to begin their review of the departments and start talking to staff. So that's moving on pretty quick. Airport Road culvert. We removed the old culvert and getting ready to replace, well, the pile's been driven, the caps are on, actually all the beams are laid out. So this week they're working on decking, cheap piling for the abutments and wing walls. We're turning the culvert into a bridge on this location. So it went from 10-15 feet to over 20 feet long structure. So it becomes a bridge. It goes on our new bridge list, and hopefully we'll take another one off somewhere else. Hopefully Lasida will come off in a month. Parks, we've got all the irrigation systems turned on. We began mowing. Landscape beds are cleaned and mulched. Getting ready to start a little drainage project in the little house in front of the courthouse. We've had problems with either gutters overflow or a lot of rainfall. We get big rains that come up and through the windows and in the foundation. We want to catch some of that water before it gets to the building and push it out towards the lawn and sidewalks. And so you'll see a little drainage trenches in front of
this side, southeast side of the courthouse. To put some drain system in the next few weeks.
And I have a question on parks. Like in Keats Park, we had in the proposal an access road through the park to get to the lagoon. When does that get started? Is that something you can do this?
That's the Keats problem. That'll be with the problem.
They will do that?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I didn't know how that would work in with the park out there, trees and all that stuff. Memorial trees.
We'll miss all the memorials. We'll probably miss a lot of those trees. If I remember when we laid that out, it misses all the memorial trees. Then it's further south than it was.
Further south,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, I was wondering. Yeah, I was out there the other day. I was wondering.
Most of that will come up the trail from the south
Okay.
and get in, because they're missing the trees.
Thank you.
Airport parks operations. We've been preparing for the MAC chloride application of dust treatment. So they've been grading up roads and putting rock on them, getting prepared for that. We should be, I think the deadline here is the next week, and then we'll schedule when that can be put down here, hopefully in May. They replaced the whole culvert on Stockdale Park Road with a big culvert, box culvert, and that seems to be working okay right now. The repairs, temporary repairs on the transfers, the floor is finished, waiting for the chute to come in. You had a change order for the metal. You will see another change order Thursday morning for that, $6,500 to repair the concrete underneath the old where the metal was. It's hiding small concrete and bad concrete, so that when they pull that all off, they'll grout that all back in and make it better and stronger, hopefully to keep the water out and start and not or to prevent the erosion or rusting of the rebar on there. Cleaning ditches on the asphalt and gravel roads. They're crack sealing ahead of the chip seal project. Crack seal. They in the city of Randolph, we do some of the work for them, and they turn around and pay us back for the effort we put in. Open positions. We're going to talk about seasonal parks positions today and a customer service representative for the transfer station. University Park, the contractors are on site, set up fence last week. Hopefully the trenching and start dirt work on the lagoon will start to end by this week. Keats, of course, you know where that, they'll start maybe in August. Hopefully that's when they finish with, they're close enough to finish University Park, they can move down there. ITGIS for final plans and specs. We're just waiting for them to finish those up so we can set it out to bid. Last or probably first week of May. The transfer station, we talked about the floor, but they put in a grant for a compost screener. They received the screener. I think they're looking for a loader bucket for their tractor and some blocks before, maybe wait until the floor is finished before they set that all up in that area where they got the temporary dumpsters for the residents to dump. Alvin and Evan are at the NACE conference in Arlington this week. The water tower is on its way up. We've got the base and the riser up there. I imagine by the end of the week, they'll start putting the top cone on and the side, the dome or the ball. They've been working, I think they worked most of last week and the week before on welding the curved sections of that together on the ground before they put them together. So, I will have PTO Thursday and Friday and maybe Monday next week. Then
LEC generator is on there. You approved the generator from CIP, which I'm thankfully you did. The next week or two after, we had antifreeze in the oil and on the ground. So we're having some major issues with that generator. Be coming back to you soon to see if we can't do a quicker replacement than a bid, if we can. Having one in a, I think Foley has one on the lot. If we can get that, it'll keep us limit to how much we are renting a generator for now, just in case that one doesn't fire. Well, yeah, because that one's out of service where we're into the generator. We put $14,000 into it about a month or two ago. With this fix, it's another 20 grand. So we're hoping we can get something in here quicker than that if and limit the. We've got a Razos Blair looking at how we can set up the transfer switch and what breaker boxes we can put on it for a certain size generator and how to go about doing it. So when that gets kind of lined out, we probably coming to you, hopefully we can get to generator quicker than having to bid it out, which would be 16 weeks or more. And then the last question I had about that is, if in preparation for an administrator, I'm not sure, I want to make sure where we're going with that. If I need to go ahead and order another desk section now, the only thing I'm worried about with ordering it now or later would be, and even now, how close a match the top will be. If we put it on, it's $3,500 or so for that. We got an order for chairs and a file cabinet for Rich, and the total order was $9,700.
Space for another desk.
We need them up here.
Or do we need that?
500.
That's something we still probably need to discuss.
We haven't
Probably.
discussed-
We
yeah.
haven't really discussed it.
We don't know yet.
It's on the horizon.
I understand. I just,
That's a good question.
it's just a chance. I think
It's pretty common laminate too that they built these.
well, just the lot number when they made it is the only thing I worry about is matching the color. We could be past that lot anyway and still not match if we order today.
Cheers. I have the understanding from our last meeting that you do want the person to attend every single meeting.
Correct.
Oh, yeah,
Just want to make sure, but you're not sure if you need to.
if they need to be
Be
up
up here or
here, yeah,
But it might be convenient to have some sort of table or desk.
a desk or something somewhere.
I don't know where you want, but
Another one would come out to almost the end of the blue column.
Yeah.
It's the same size.
We push, maybe get rid of some of these up and we'd have to remove trees
the
or
west.
chairs and push some of the extra back into this room.
Yeah, the front row could scoot over. So. I like this.
And I could wait. I'm not in a hurry to do it. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
Yeah,
you want to do it now.
I know that question has come up.
So we will wait. Next topic then, if you're ready for it, is customer service rep at the transfer station. One of the ladies is retiring come June, so need to get started in trying to find her replacement. They work at 20 hours a week, basically 2 days at the station. They do a good job of scheduling themselves. Yeah, I don't know what I'll say about that is, as they have 3, they can. It's a part-time job, 20 hours a week is about all. Maybe once in a while they get more, but not too often. We do more than 20 hours a week.
do you want to just clarify though, they do get full-time benefits. They're not an as needed.
Why is that?
That is how it was set up prior to my time, prior to John's time. It was, I don't know if it had been keeping the position, making it stable. I mean, it has been very stable.
They've been
I know they all been there 7, 8 years or more.
Part of the reason why the full-time benefits is a big attraction, keeping
Yeah.
people.
Now, how many are you just?
There's
One?
three,
Three? Where one of them is retired?
one of them's retired.
Okay. And the other two have full benefits.
They
They all
all
pay, all three have benefits.
full health, part-time PTO, right?
We do, yeah. It does skew your percentage, so that's why one of the reasons why your percentage of benefits cost in solid waste is. Apologize, Commissioner. So what I was saying is that these are part-time positions, but they do, we do fund full-time benefits, including health insurance. And that is one of the reasons that in solid waste, it's skewed, and I think it was 55% of our salaries instead of the 42.05 with the other departments. It has, in my opinion, created stability. They are out there by themselves, really self-managing and sometimes even conflict resolving, and they really are the liaison for the operators as well. Like if they, to need to reach out to Evan, but it's a different cost than the other 20-hour week jobs.
Has been budgeted through 26 anyway.
Yeah.
And so far it's been budgeted for 27. As they are.
Get a motion?
I've moved to approve Public Works Solid Waste Division to fill the vacant customer service representative position.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Public Works Solid Waste Division to fill the vacant customer service representative. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All three sign?
Okay, then the last thing on my list is press to fill park seasonal positions. Each year parks ask for seasonal workers. We try to hire 3 to 4 employees. We'd like them to work a full 40-hour week. For the most part, from mid-May now through the end of August would be the ideal time for them having a, especially when fair time comes along, that they're around for fair. It helps us get the fair in and keeps the parks mowed at the same time. If they can stay longer, we appreciate that too. Is with the parks crews can do landscape projects or other projects that dependable, a good seasonal help can be out there mowing while they're doing that and finish those up in the fall. So that's how, that's what we're asking for this time is 3 to 4 seasonals, and hopefully we pick some that, or get some that'll work through all of it.
Now, you do have a budget in there for benefits, but it's fairly low. Is that just like workman's comp or whatever?
These shouldn't get any benefits.
Yeah, it shows.
Work comp, yeah.
There's a required part-time benefit that we have to pay as an employer for any hour worked, and that is 7.78%. So it's going to be your FICA and your required unemployment.
But it's not like full.
It's not health
Like-
insurance, it's not dental, it's, yeah, if they don't get vacation or PTO or critical leave, so. One other point I wanted to make, John, you had asked previously for last season to have a plan for how and when these were, because we were, we still had people at different times and we didn't communicate when we needed all of those. I don't know how to do this either. This one?
Where the kind of the plan is.
This, yeah. So I wanted to just point out that David Willis and John created this so that you guys would know specifically what you're signing off for, that they accept 3 to 4 workers. Their total hours won't exceed 4,680. And we are hoping that mid-May through the end of month, August 1, they would like to keep someone through November. And that's what spurred the question last year of like, what is seasonal doing in September, October?
I had a conversation with David on this.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure we got it down and clarified so everyone would know what to expect.
When you get to August, then, it's not so much seasonal anymore. It just didn't make any sense.
Right.
So, but I can understand.
Good.
Okay. Anything else? No? Okay. I'll go ahead and make a motion then to approve the public works to fill the seasonal parks positions in the Parks Department.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the public works, that public works fill the seasonal park positions in park division. All in favor? Aye.
Please sign.
Thank you.
Mike, will you all full time?
I don't know now.
What? So definite time,
Six things.
10 minutes. Okay. No problem. Get kicked out of this one.
All right.
I'm letting Michael take the reins on this.
Yeah.
We don't try me dropping too, I mean.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Willie.
Yeah, lights are going off again. They got that, like in my office, that one went off, and now my office went off.
I'm sure mine probably will.
Is yours, isn't it silly to have those in an office? Like, you come in at night, you wouldn't want to be sitting there like that.
Yeah, just have to get back up and turn it on.
For you, you have to go all the way. Yeah, but still, it's kind of weird. Don't know why they did that.
Well, it's an energy saver, but
Yeah.
but still.
He doesn't live in my house, my wife can do the lights.
Wait till you get the electricity. I remember they've got a lot of energy saving lights in my house, but I shut it off. Smoke. LEDs help a lot. Be the first executive session we've got in this space.
Mm-mm.
Did we do one?
We did the department evaluation out there. Have a little bit more room and space. Then we had an issue with people being able to hear because I had my windows open.
My windows.
People were warm this morning, so feel the need. Balmy, that's what I call it. Yeah.
We open ours, we just get the exhaust fumes off the house.
We're going by smoking.
Yeah, I get that out there too. People are smoking and vaping, it just rolls right in.
They do send it,
Yeah.
sit on that bench.
Yeah. I've noticed that already.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
One minute. I wish I had a clock on it.
You up there now,
To the second.
on your screen there behind John.
We are
There.
there. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion, move the county commissioners, including Chairwoman Boki, Vice Chairman Ford, and Commissioner McKinley, along with Michael Hawthorne, Assistant County Counselor, Attorney for the Commission, recess into executive session for attorney-client consultation regarding pending litigation, an exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act, and an open meeting to resume in the County Commission chamber at 10:35 a.m.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded for the county commission to recess into executive session for the reasons previously stated under the attorney-client consultation exception to the Kansas Open Meetings Act. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay, Commission, you are live.
Okay, I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners come out of executive session.
I'll second.
Yes, we moved and seconded that the Board of County Commissioners come out of the executive session. All in favor?
I
Aye.
also move that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in executive session.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that the record reflect action shall be taken consistent with the consensus reached in the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have Jay's filter at 10:40. right?
Yeah.
Isn't it nice you can do that?
It's nice. I don't have to drive across town.
Ugh. Already 80 degrees.
Already?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
Oh,
Jeez.
a little too warm this time.
Just because you lost the insulation on top,
I
I
don't-
don't mean you gotta go full.
Lost it on top. I've lost it in my midsection a little bit. I'm ready to get this this summer.
Well, next we could get 2 o'clock.
One way to cover up a mistake.
Well, he probably said put it on the column, but he didn't say which column.
Yeah, that was a bad choice of words, and there's a lot of columns in here.
Yeah.
I think I don't know.
We were very specific.
That's what I thought too.
Oh, we were, I
Yeah.
just don't think it got translated from us to him
Right.
specifically.
Apparently, we must have missed all that significant severe weather that was supposed to roll through on the weekend, or at least I wasn't aware of any.
Yeah.
They had a pretty good gust NATO up by Randolph.
Oh, really?
Oh, really?
They had pretty good video of it, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, up north where the storm from
I
the
did
power.
Just north of Randolph there, kind of skirted over it by Oldsburg.
Glad for the rain I got, but I'd have taken a couple more inches. But thankful for what we got.
no.
There's another good chance tomorrow and
I
towards the
think
end of the
that's
week.
south, mainly again. South always gets hammered too.
Oh, that's how I saw us in the marginal box.
I think the first of the week anyway, storms are south, and then maybe one at the end of the week, maybe more this way.
I just want some rain.
Yeah.
Concerned about the rest of it.
I want to
get the
drive a
gorilla-
motorcycle, man.
I don't need the gorilla hail and all that.
Yeah, I could pass on that.
Well, motion doesn't work.
Ready?
Yeah.
You gotta jump up and down. You gotta jump up and down.
That way, yeah, I was back.
No, I don't.
Turn them on, turns off.
Yeah.
that Motion, but it doesn't turn on with motion.
Doesn't.
Yeah, they gotta check that. On that page,
Yeah.
punch list or whatever you wanna call it.
Turn back on.
I'm pretty sure mine's off right now too.
If they're set right, well, they're gonna get the guy in here.
Ready? All right. Good morning, Commissioners. Jacob Hansen, Riley County Councilor, here with the staff update administrative work session. I'll start with the staff update. Of course, I'm working with Elizabeth pretty closely on the reorganization, talking about statutory duties and what the commission could do with that, as well as some pros and cons for some of those moves that we're looking for. I've also, I believe, mentioned last time that I'm taking a look at a couple different legal policies that I'm putting together. One is policy for the Senate Bill 244, which is the infamous bathroom bill, just highlighting and providing a little bit more procedure for that. Inevitably, when that happens, it is subject to a lawsuit right now, but injunction's not going to happen until or at least the hearing for an injunction is not going to happen until September. So we got a significant amount of time where there's things in place that's going to be enforced. So I'm bringing that to department heads this week. Once we get the all clear from them, we'll go ahead and present it to you guys. Same with that is the citizen agenda item policy. I'm bringing it to the department heads as well. Again, the purpose is really to just serve as a baseline for if anybody wants to come to the board and speak and put on as an agenda item. Our baseline is at least that they show up during a public comment session and ask for it from you guys, and you guys can make that decision. That's the baseline. So that's working its way to you guys as well. Speaking of criminal nuisance cases, most of my time and Michael's time will be spent this week preparing for our trial Friday. This is regarding the property that's up north off the highway. It's been in litigation in and out for a number of years. So it'll be good to have this one done. We feel pretty strongly that we have a good case. And so it's moving forward. The only thing that could maybe disrupt that is if Michael has to take off as he's expecting a kid at any moment. And so that's, of course, when these things happen. So if that happens, we may have to move the trial. We'll just kind of see how it goes. But on that process as well, or as far as criminal nuisance abatement, we did receive a conviction. As I mentioned earlier, Michael's working on all the legwork in order to have you guys order the cleanup of the property and what that process is going to look like. So we're going to actually get to utilize the bill that has been passed to its fullest extent, which will be helpful when I go and talk in front of the legislature next year and get that permanent. I'll be working with Tom and Bruno. I'll start talking with them here relatively shortly to make sure we get that all in place and ready to go by the time next year's session starts.
Yeah, they probably don't understand how long it takes. It's taken that way.
Yeah.
3
Well,
years or so.
Now it'd be a lot easier.
It should be. It'll be, from my understanding, I think all I have to do is present the same bill, strike the language that says it expires in 2027 and be done with it.
Make sure you get with Crawford County too, because they're under that same.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I think, I'll have the chance to speak with their counselor. We usually meet up during the CLEs that we do, and that's twice a year. So I'll ask him how he's doing on that. Yeah, of course, sewer plenty of benefit district issues going on that we're dealing with and that you guys have been fully advised on. Working through core requests as per usual. Still haven't received any update as far as when we're going to get an answer on the Prairie Wood case from the Kansas Supreme Court, but we're waiting patiently for that one. Any questions, concerns with any of these kind of projects that we're just handling on the surface level here? Okay. Now for the more interesting discussion, of course, and if you've been paying attention to the legislature, there was another bill, property tax legislation bill, that was passed as a concurrent resolution to be stuck under a shell piece of legislation, House Bill 2043, to do protest petitions. There's been indication that it may likely go through, that the governor may go ahead and sign this one. There's at least indications of that.
It was her recommendation or something is what I heard.
There's a number of changes. I don't know if it was her recommendation that these changes were made, but these were a lot of the sticking points that a number of folks had. Mainly, I think the Democrats had with that particular piece of legislation. The one we're talking about is the protest petition. So what has changed, and what I have kind of, the way I've been phrasing it is at least that they have taken the really nasty parts of the legislation out. One example being that if a successful protest petition is made, instead of reversing you all the way back to last year's budget levels, you just get pushed down to the max you could have received. So, and that's still balanced between CPI or 3%, whichever is less. So that number still is going to be the case. Okay, but at least if we try to go higher and there's a successful petition, you're only removed down to as high as what you could have gone. So that is a welcome change, I would say. They also accept out a number of situations when calculating the base property tax amount that they're going to be calculating it from. They've essentially real estate and added jurisdictional territory. That doesn't necessarily apply to us. That would be more for cities. They have real property with change in use. That's still, I'm not entirely certain what they mean by that, and it's not necessarily clear in the language drafted either. But if I had to venture to guess, it'd be a change in planning and zoning, a change in perhaps the taxing structure. It could be a number of things, at least among those two. And those could have applicability to us and how we calculate it. And then lastly, is expiration of tax abatement policies. So things like TIF districts, RHIDs, once those go online, right, to where we're receiving those tax dollars, those will not be counted against us in the increase of revenue, which is certainly a good thing if we're going to be under this system, because that would potentially then eat up, right, a lot of that increase. So when we have TIF districts come online, which I think there's a couple that have been recently in Manhattan and for Riley County, those we can calculate those to not be included in the increase in total budgeted amounts. So the other change, and Rich, I would like your opinion on, is they changed again what the total amount needed to have a successful protest petition. And the way they have it worded currently is 10% of qualified electors cast for the Secretary of State in the last general election. I don't know what kind of number that puts us at. And it's qualified electors. So who are the amount of people that are just qualified?
Not only qualified electors to vote on that position anyway, so
Yeah.
there's just a number of ballots cast for that position we have to find.
Yeah.
It'd be significantly less signatures than
Just 10% of the general. Yeah, that's what I kind of feeling. So we'll continue to monitor. Of course, governor has 10 days to veto this one. After this, if the governor doesn't, either if the governor vetoes, that will be the end of it. There will not be any more bills that can be passed or any, from my understanding, they couldn't go into a special session, say, and put in another property tax bill. This will pretty much be the end of it for the year. So this is it.
So when was it passed?
That was on Friday, late Friday night. I don't remember if it got into Saturday morning or not, but
They convened at like 1:34, and it was just
Yeah.
before that, so it was literally at that deadline.
yeah. So she's got 10 days.
That's why I didn't when the 10 days started.
Yeah, I would say arguably the 10 days start on Friday. I would say. I'm sure that's how she'll probably approach it as well. If she has intent to veto, anyways. But I'm sure without the fact that there's anything for them to do if she does veto, then perhaps the decision should come a lot quicker, because there's no real implication in waiting, other than, obviously for herself to determine whether or not she wants to.
Because she could also just leave it alone.
Yeah, she can also leave it alone, let it pass. That's certainly possible as well. And then after that, I know Brittany wanted to say a couple things, so.
I think we covered all the main points I wanted to go over, but I did want to provide some data because I know we've talked a lot, and I know Commissioner Ford, I've heard you say we need to prepare 2 budgets, and just we need to.
Well, I was saying, I hope we don't have to do
Right.
2 budgets, but yeah.
Be prepared. And so I wanted to provide some data on what this would look like for Riley County. So from 25 to 26, this does not include fire districts since they're their own taxing entity. So I'm just talking about county general, county building, and RCPD. We had a total 3% increase in ad valorem taxes levied. General fund was 3%, county building we lowered, so it was a negative 38%, and RCPD was 7%.
Yeah.
So that is the one that I think would be a little tricky. And I'm telling all of you because 2 of you are on the law board. And so if they come back with a very similar request of a large increase, which I know some of that is our own stuff that we have to pay. We are obligated to pay inmate medical, those other things, but that was a significant increase compared to everything else where we're at. So fire district was 2%, just an ad valorem from increase from 25 to 26. So I just wanted to provide you some data in relation to this bill and how that could impact us.
Well, does that apply to the 3% apply to the fire district? Is there a different entity?
No, ma'am, it does not. Well, for the bill, yes, but what I just explained, no. Fire district, it was 2% increase from 25 to 26.
Yeah, the bill is limited to its property tax for the taxing districts or the taxing entities. So broken down township, city, sewer districts, even fire district.
The school districts included?
School districts, I believe, are included
Oh.
as one as well.
So
Is my understanding, now I'm gonna say that, but I didn't necessarily look for it, but I say that based on my understanding is that they basically just took what they had in 2745 and put it into the shell and these adjustments. So I'm assuming that's the case. Can't say for sure.
Now, the RCPD, what, as law board members, do we have to get that budget lower that, but down to the 3%?
Well, I would say this, when it comes to the time to talk about RCPD budgets, both the county and the city are going to have a lot stronger arguments on why they should keep their request reasonable, because whatever their increase is going to have a direct impact on what we can do.
But this bill doesn't directly affect it. It just.
Yeah, it doesn't directly, but
It's through us.
But it's through us for what we paid for that.
correct.
It would be basically the same in the other county that had a sheriff's department. I mean, you'd
Correct.
be having to do the same budgetary process with
Correct. But
statutory
now,
differences.
now it's these increases are going to be shared amongst us
Right.
and the city. And so we're going to be married to whatever increases that maybe they are allowed to have with law board. So it's just something for our folks to consider too.
Yeah, we're looking at budget now as far as future, but at the RCPD.
Next Monday,
so
we're gonna get our first presentation.
Which is why I wanted to provide you some of that information on how much we have levied for ad valorem taxes for RCPD specifically, just because they are in our overall, 3% that we did an increase for from 25 to 26, but 7% is a large increase for Riley County.
So that, what's that gonna do, overall there, if it's the same, if it's 7%, what's that gonna do to our 3%?
I mean, effectively, it eats up what we would want to do as far as any increases. It takes everything away, and because if the law board passes a budget, we are required to, so they automatically then just basically eat everything.
We have to make up the difference someplace else.
Someplace, right.
Unfortunately, this legislation doesn't impact RCPD at all.
No.
Right. And you hear it from department heads too, and you all said it last year. It's really difficult when an RCPD passes a budget that we have to follow, and then that has a direct impact on all of our other departments here in Riley County.
It has for many years.
Yes, absolutely.
Agree.
And so especially this legislation, when it comes through and if it gets approved by the governor, that will have a direct impact again on our departments. Now, if you guys decide to go over that 3% and, which if we do, we do, then, if we have a successful protest petition, then we will, have that implication as well. We'll need to look at, and we'll look at cuts. We will look at cuts.
So is the CPI then for 26? So we don't really know that till the end of the year? The 3% versus CPI, or is it CPI from the year before?
I believe the bill says it's the previous year.
So it'd be for 20, and what was that?
I think we're at
2.8.
Okay, so really
You have to go with
2.8 this year.
Yeah, 2.8.
Okay.
Yeah. And then 3% is the cap if it's over.
Right.
You know.
Well, it said 3% or CPI, whichever is lower. So it'd
Right.
be 2.8 this.
Right. Yes. I'm just saying, like, back a few years ago, we had CPI that was 8%. So then it would just be 3%.
Well,
Yeah, that's
certainly-
really.
Yeah.
certainly considering some the CPI numbers that we released relatively recently are indicating an acceleration.
Mhm.
We're probably next year when we have this conversation, I would not be surprised if it's well over 3%.
Yeah, me too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
About 1,789. About.
And that's pretty doable.
It's harder than you think.
No, I
It's
don't
harder than
think
you
so.
think.
You get the right group together, and I say group, I mean 5, 6 people.
And I think the thing is, this year, which is different compared to like other protest petitions, we have to include that in the R&R letter.
Yeah.
So then that's what makes it easier for
It-
people.
Did it still allow just signing that letter and sending it back? But that's petition, and it's not a petition. That's not a protest petition.
Correct. It's their own.
Protest
way to do
letter.
it. Their own way to do it. Yeah.
So then that 1,700 is a lot more attainable versus having to go out and knock on people's doors or, however you go about a protest
That's
petition.
basically how you do it, yeah.
But then I think about the fire district, which could be less, and I don't know what that number is. That could, that's a smaller, and even our benefit districts, we have sewer and water, and if they need to go over that percentage, that could have negative implications as well.
But once again, how many people really pay attention and understand what's going on? It's not as easy as typing on Facebook. I don't.
No, I understand
Not
that,
quite
but
that easy.
But for the benefit districts, then is that protest petition would only be that percentage of how many
That's
people
what
are
we're
in
talking
that.
about, fire district.
That's in the fire district, that doesn't include the city. So that's all.
Correct.
Yeah, that's a really small number,
The 10% of the.
but
Yeah, no, I think it's just 10% of the qualified electorate. Bob is the Secretary of State, so I think it would be countywide, so that number wouldn't change depending on the voting.
Well, that's countywide, but they couldn't use that same number for just fire districts because that's not that
Correct,
taxing.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you
That's not that
definitely,
taxing entity.
you definitely bring a good point, but the way that it's written, it isn't clear.
But of course, some of the sewer districts, some of the sewer districts don't have 1,700 people. No. Most of them don't.
Yeah. Yeah, none of them do. I can guarantee you.
Yeah, probably the biggest one's University Park, but
Mhm. Yeah, and they're nowhere
But even-
even close to that.
I'd even figure 2, or if they got an over 3 a house, it's still not gonna make it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not.
It would be the same with townships. It'd be based on their township.
Yeah.
Okay, fun stuff.
Okay, you have 1 minute left, Jacob.
All right, well, commissioners, any questions for me, any concerns, thoughts, anything you'd like me to talk about?
I think you've done enough.
Fair enough. All right. Thanks, George.
That's Michael.
Yeah, you're right.
On the-
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I know. Oh. Takes some getting used to.
No, not touchscreen. There's a keyboard and mouse under it.
That's what I thought the first time.
There, so everybody gets-
I know.
All right, good morning, Commissioners. Catherine Hensler with our monthly staff report from the museum. So we'll start right off with visitation and tours. You can see in the month of March, we had 390 individual visitation records, and those are spread across the various museum and historic society sites. So between the museum, the Goodnow House, Wolf House, Pioneer Log Cabin isn't recording any visitation right now since they're closed for the season, but then also includes programs and outreach numbers. So we're a little bit lower than this time last year, but about equivalent to what we saw in February. Volunteer hours, we were higher than our average. So between general volunteers, interns, board of directors, and then our community service workers, we saw 132, almost 133 hours of volunteer services last month. And I will say we're back on the schedule for community service workers. So they help out greatly over at the sites. They just pick things up outside, keep us looking clean and tidy. In the month of March, education and outreach, Melanie Highsmith and I attended the township supervisors meeting in early March. We provided an exhibit table and a presentation about America 250. We also, while we didn't run the program on March 5th with the Silver Creek Beneficiary Club, we attended and we brought some technological elements. So Kathleen Sin is a resident of Keats. She was present and witnessed firsthand the flood of 1951 here in Manhattan, and she provided a narrative of her experience. And then we brought the 1952 video that the Army Corps of Engineers put together. So we shared the video with them, and we had a lot of hands-on photographs that we were able to pass around. We've also done a number of things working with students this month. So between Kansas Kids, as well as Read Across America, we've been interacting with our local students. And then March 25th, I attended the Kansas State Historical Society Sites Retreat in Topeka. And this is an annual retreat for any of the state historic site managers. We fall under that category as managers of the Goodnow House. And then we hosted a small private cemetery preservation workshop for the DAR at Sunset Cemetery on the 28th. Concerning collections, we are working with our Historical Society Collections Committee to update the collections management policy. This document is something that we update every three years to make sure it's valid and following proper collections ethics and procedures. That is something that the board, the society board has to vote on, then it will go to our trustees to vote on, and then it will end up in front of you to review. We will, Jacob, since this will be the first time you're interacting with this document, we'll make sure that you've got it in advance, have a chance to review it. Please do remember that it is a document that the Historical Society, the private nonprofit organization, approves because it is actually their collection that we maintain at the museum. It does not belong to the county. So we do have to make sure, though, that it follows county standards and your approval, because county staff people will have to adhere to that policy. So we will probably get to that towards the end of the second quarter of this year. So I will make sure you get a heads up on that. And then commissioners, that'll be heading in your direction at some point shortly thereafter. So in March, we had 5 individual donations come in. Of those 5, there were 35 individual objects that were approved, and we were able to backlog 1 object. So while it doesn't seem like we were very busy, I do promise you our collections and curators are working very hard. We've been deaccessioning still more library and archives items. And so we'll be able to report that very large deaccession number sometime, hopefully very, very soon. As far as archives and library, 2 of our as-needed museum assistants, Brantley Schiermeyer and Eric Dudenkopf, are working to catalog the Blaker photography collection. That collection is occupying an entire storage unit off-site. we would like to eliminate that storage unit. It doesn't make sense for the society to continually have to pay for this space. We also know that what's in that unit are photographic negatives. They are slowly degrading, and that's just the nature of negatives. It's really hard to find a safe and stable environment for them. The storage unit, of course, is not, but our goal is to get them out of that space, digitize everything so we have a permanent record, and of course catalogs. So these will be made available to the community. Our curator Ferens has also been taking a series of trainings dealing with copyright laws and how they apply to historical collections and archival collections. We're doing that in preparation. Our asset use agreement is from 1998, and that's a long time ago, and we're still using it. So we do want to get that updated. Again, it starts with the society's collection, so they'll be part of that. But Jacob, I'll be bringing that to you as well, just to make sure we are following legal standards as well. In the month of March, our library and archives use reflects 9 research requests from external sources, none from internal. We had 15 in-person appointments, 1 walk-in, and 6 photo permission requests. So a total of 31 interactions with that division this past month. As far as building and grounds, I mentioned during the last report that I've been working with the Kansas Historical Society to get some form of preservation project going at the Goodnow House, dealing with the restoration of their windows and doors, and that is finally moving forward. So the state has accepted the bid from their chosen contractor, and that's John Wood of Woodworks Restoration. He's done work for us before. He's done work with the state before. We are now just working on funding to be released and a grant that has been submitted. That none of that is coming through county budgets or figures or anything that will be coming through the state specifically, but I do want to keep you apprised of that status. I do want to give a shout out to the County Public Works and Parks crew. They have spent a significant amount of time cleaning up our site this spring. It looks great. So they removed a lot of debris. They've cleaned up some of the landscaping. So John, thank you to your team, and David, you guys have done a great job, and we're looking ready to go for the busy season. I also want to note that the new landscaping in front of the museum is starting to finally look nice. This was a project that was done last winter with Prairie Stone. They had an intern that was looking to get practical experience, and they're having trouble finding someone willing to prove a native Kansas garden. That's exactly what we were looking for. So it worked out great. They did the design service and the labor at no cost. And then the Historical Society received a grant last year that was dedicated to the benefit of the museum. And we selected to use that to purchase the plants. So once everything's in bloom, we'll get some pictures and I'll share those with you. But I wanted to thank, excuse me, Prairie Stone for their work in that. It is looking great. As far as staffing, the contract register interviews have concluded, and we have selected a candidate for the role. The individual was presented to the board of directors as a recommendation for hire. They were not ready to make that decision yet. They want to finalize what the contract will look like. And so that contract, again, is through the Historical Society, and that individual, it really doesn't have anything to do with the county. So I'll let you know once that is completed, but we'll review that at the next board meeting, which will be in May. The museum summer 2026 internship position has been filled by David Williams. He is a former service member and a current fashion studies student at K-State. He'll be working under the supervision of Curator Ferens and the Library and Archives Division. He also has, for this internship, we don't generally offer internships above 150 hours. He needs to get 250 hours, which is really hard for our staff to attain, especially for a summer internship. So we're partnering with the K-State Museum of Costumes and Textiles, and they'll be able to offer the additional 100 hours. So we'll be able to offer this student all of what he needs through collaboration with this other department at K-State. We are currently accepting applications for the fall 2026 and spring 2027 semesters. All of those applicants need to go through the county HR portal. The Historical Society has been undergoing lots of preservation work over at the Wolf Photography Studio and the Wolf House porch. They're both moving forward, neither fully complete yet, but if you do drive by Fremont or Juliet, you'll see some additional changes to those buildings, and it's really looking great. The Historical Society will be participating in the Greater Manhattan Community Foundation's Grow Green event. That's going to be on April 22nd this year. And their commitment for funds raised during that event is to go towards preservation and CIP work at their additional historic sites. As far as upcoming events, we have a lot, so I'm not going to go through all of them. They are written on the report, and we'll be getting some e-newsletters out shortly that I know you have, they get sent to you. But the big things that I want to point out is starting tomorrow, we'll be doing fourth grade field trips over at the Wolf House, and those will take place the next 3 weeks. So we anticipate having over 660 children at that site in the next 3 weeks. So we're going to have some of our educators there. We'll be short-staffed at the museum. So if you do need anything, just give me a call or shoot me an email first. We might be zipping back and forth, and I don't want to miss you. However, we will be busy, and you're welcome to swing by the Wolf House anytime the next 3 weeks to see how these programs run. They're pretty cool. Pioneer Log Cabin is going to open for the season on April the 26th. This is a seasonal site. We're open usually the end of April to the end of October, free admission. That, of course, is the Riley County Historical Society's first official county museum. It was built in 1915. We'll also be doing a history on the road. We'll be heading up to Riley, Kansas. That'll be on April 29th from 5:30 until 7:30, and that'll be at the Farmhouse Restaurant. It is free and open to the public, but we do encourage everybody to order off the menu. So we'll basically be having dinner and presentation. We'll have a panel of historians presenting at that event as well. And then Manhattan Museum Month will be May 1st through May 31st. We're not doing any special events, but our goal amongst all the community museums is to raise awareness of the valuable cultural resources we have in our community and to encourage attendance and participation at some of these events. And then lastly, May 6th, we'll be doing a program. It's actually presented by our intern, Sophie Lenkowitz, and it's titled The Boy in the Ball Field, George Giles and the Story of Yuma Street. So she has been putting together her independent research for this program, and we're always very pleased when we get interns who are willing to do presentations with us. So that'll be at the Manhattan Public Library, free and open to the public. I won't go through all of the other events. I'll be bringing those to your attention at upcoming meetings, but we hope you can join us at some of these. And that concludes my report. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
Includes all the presentations and today, did we have anything else to discuss?
Don't.
Have a motion to adjourn.
Go ahead and make a motion to adjourn the April 3rd meeting of the Riley County Commission.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded to adjourn the April 13th meeting of the Board of Raleigh County Commissioners. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.